Welcome to the channel. My name is Coach and I'm your go-to source for everything relating to NXT. And damn, tonight's episode, I genuinely think it was one of my favorite episodes of NXT this whole year because damn, it was just so chaotic, but I absolutely loved it. I love my wrestling shows being chaotic, just throwing everything at the wall, and that's what tonight's episode was. So much happened, so much we can theorize about, so much surprises. I loved it, and I'm so excited to talk about it, so let's just get into it. So we start the show off with a women's tag team match. Damage Control is back in NXT, at least Io Sky and Kairi Sane, and they're taking on NXT's own Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson, Meta 4. And I really love it. Recently, the women's tag team division across all brands have been really built up more and more, and I really enjoy it. I love women's wrestling, and I want the women's tag team division to feel more important. So if we have to take Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson up to the main roster and incorporate them there, I'd be very happy about that. But as good as it is, there's also its bad part, as it always feels like these women's tag team matches end up in DQs, because Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, they interfered, they laid everyone out and they stood tall. I get what they're doing with this, it's related to the stories on the main roster, but I just wish sometimes these women's tag team matches would have a clean finish, because it always ends in some form of distraction, interference, or disqualification, and I don't like that. But I'm gonna talk about some more women's tag teams later on, especially in the main event, since it's Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, Team 2001 versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. Damn, I can't wait to get there. Then Cole Custer, the Formula 1 driver, he arrives in NXT, he hangs out with Hank and Tank, but then OTM with Jada Parker, they come up and they tell Cole Custer and Hank and Tank, just get out of there because they're taking up their spot, and this all ends up in a shouting match, and we get a tag team match set up for later tonight, so that's something to look forward to. We also get a segment backstage between Ashante the Adonis and Carmen Petrovic, and essentially they flirt, have a bit of banter before Adonis leaves, and then So Ruka and Brittany Reese tell Carmen Petrovic that there's no chemistry there. But then Carmen tells them they don't know what she wants, and she walks off angrily, and this sets up a Sol Ruka versus Carmen Petrovic match for later tonight. And I've seen a lot of people complain about this love story between Carmen Petrovic and Ashante the Adonis. I don't think so at all. I think it benefits both characters. It gives Carmen Petrovic this edge, and I do like what they're doing with this story. We're gonna see a bit progression later tonight, but I just enjoy what they're doing here. Then we had a match, Tatum Paxley versus Jada Parker, and this was a pretty good match. I really enjoyed the two of these girls. Jada Parker ends up winning the match. I didn't expect this to happen. I thought Lola Vice was going to interfere, but no, they give Jada Parker the victory, which is a good decision. I just don't like how much Tatum Paxley is losing, but that's fine. After the match, Lola Vice runs in, and the refs have to hold her back. Jada Parker tries to run at her, but the refs hold her back too. And then, at the back of the ring, Wendy Chu just chokes out Tatum Paxley, then puts her in a box and rolls her away. That's strange, but I really like that they're continuing the story. It seemed like it stopped for a bit, but now they're continuing it. I expect something to happen with Lyra Valkyria. Maybe Lyra Valkyria comes to save her, but I'm just happy the story is progressing. And with Wendy Chu and Rosemary potentially winning the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, there's a lot of direction this can go, so I'm very intrigued about what's happening here. Then backstage, Lexis King challenges Charlie Dempsey to a Heritage Cup match, and Lexis King says he and Charlie Dempsey are very much the same. Charlie Dempsey doesn't think so, and he basically accepts the match, and then tells Lexis to find someone to be in his corner for the match, but Lexis doesn't have anyone. I complained about Lexis King being turned a babyface, but I'm sort of interested in this now, because while I think he's a very good scumbag heel, in NXT, they seem to give everyone a chance to be a babyface and a heel, which is good. It tests them out, tests the waters with both sides for the main roster. I'm just curious how they're going to do this, because I don't see Lexis King as a very likable guy. I don't know him personally, I mean his character. I just can't buy him as this likable guy, so it's going to be interesting how they move around that. But I'm willing to give this a chance, and my opinion has changed a bit. I am sort of into it now. Backstage, Javon Evans slaps Nathan Frazier after he basically insults him and tells him he's not good enough. And then Cedric Alexander and Axiom, they break it up. And then Javon Evans tries walking away, but then Wesley gets in his face too. And it seems like everyone just hates Javon Evans. And I would like to see Wesley versus Javon Evans. Hell, I'd like to see Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander versus Fraxium. The problem is, Javon Evans isn't going to win either of these feuds. I don't see him defeating Wesley since Wesley is in the pipeline to face Trick Williams, so it wouldn't make sense to give Wesley an L. And I don't see Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander being an established enough tag team to defeat Fraxium. So he's gonna lose both of these feuds, and that's just gonna hurt him more. I am one of the people that complain a lot about Javon Evans keeps taking the pinfalls, he keeps losing. I get it, it's developmental, he's young, it might not hurt him, but it does put him back a bit because anyone who watches it just sees he's a loser, and that's what it's starting to come off across. So if we're gonna put him in a feud, at least give him some victories or something, because I don't see the point in making him lose the whole time. And then one of the things that I'm most excited about the match is Adriana Rizzo was attacked backstage, and she's just laying there. The rest of the family are coming up to her. They're about to have a match, and Adriana Rizzo just got attacked. So things are wild, and I really enjoyed this because there's so many directions this could go. Like, it could be Oba Femi that attacked Adriana Rizzo, and that would be majorly controversial if they decide to go that route. But then I've seen online some people saying it could have been Delta, and we're going to talk about her later because she's not named Delta anymore. But it could have been her for whatever reason, or it could have been Nikita Lyons, and that's something I really found interesting, and we're going to talk about that later. But remember Nikita Lyons. And then we get a match with the family involved. Luca Crucifino just gets absolutely destroyed by Oba Femi, and I love this, man. Maybe I'm just blinded because Oba Femi right now, he's my favorite wrestler in the whole world right now. I'm so high on the guy. And he just destroys Luca Crucifino, and then he keeps attacking them after the match. Destroys Stacks, destroys Luca Crucifino. Tony D'Angelo tries to come out to save him, but Oba Femi just destroys him too. Then he ties him up, and he makes him watch as he throws Luca and Stacks through a table, through a ladder, and he just obliterates him in front of him. And I really love that, man. I just want to see Oba Femi destroy everyone. I want to see him take back the North American Championship. I want to see him just absolutely squash Trick Williams for that NXT Championship. I think we really need to see a heel that just absolutely is dominant and nobody can stop him. And I think Oba Femi is the perfect guy to do that with. But yeah, this feud has gotten a lot more interesting. Originally, I didn't really buy it, but now, man, it is so good. I'm so invested in this. And there's so many directions they can go at Halloween Havoc, but I just hope it's Oba Femi destroying everyone. And then we get another segment about Delta, and like I mentioned earlier, her name's not Delta anymore, she's now Zaria. I don't exactly know how to pronounce it, but that's what they said, and I kind of dig the name. It's gonna take a bit to get used to because I've been so used to calling her Delta, but I'm really excited to see what they do with her. And she does appear at the end of the show. It's something that I'm also very intrigued by what they're going to do with that, but that also comes later. Then we also get the announcement that Andre Chase will face Ridge Holland in an ambulance match at Halloween Havoc. It's cool, another gimmick match for the pay-per-view, but I'm not invested. I keep saying this, they rushed this story, they didn't do it properly. I'm not invested in the whole Andre Chase Ridge Holland thing. I just want to get it over with and to have everybody go their own routes, and so that Thea Hill can be the primary focus of JCU again. Trick Williams and Ethan Page have a final face-to-face before their match at Halloween Havoc, and there's nothing new here that we haven't seen before. I didn't really want to see Ethan Page be Trick's first challenger. I wish we would have built him up more, give him something different before heading back to Trick Williams, but I understand why they're doing this. We want to build up the rest. But yeah, I'm not really excited for the match. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be a great match. But yeah, it's just, we've seen it before. Not really invested in seeing it again. Then we have the aforementioned match between Sol Ruka and Carmen Petrovic. And Ashante the Adonis was sitting in the crowd with some other girl. And Carmen Petrovic kept her eyes on that, and that distracted her a lot. And eventually Ashante the Adonis left with the girl, and that majorly upset Carmen Petrovic and distracted her. Sol Ruka hits her with the Soul Snatcher and picks up the victory. It was really nice seeing Sol Ruka again. She's been on a little excursion to TNA, and I reviewed TNA too if you didn't know, so go watch that. But yeah, at least I get to see her, but I missed her on NXT, man. So it's nice to see her back and nice to see her get a victory. I wonder how she's going to be incorporated in this new established women's division, but it's probably going to lead to something with Jordynne Grace if Jordynne Grace signs, because you already have a connection between Sol Ruka and Jordynne Grace. But back to Carmen Petrovic, I'm really enjoying this story. I do generally love an enemies to lovers story, and if they do this properly, this could be major for both people, but especially Carmen Petrovic. I'm really high on her. I believe so much in her, so I just want to see her give me something, and this is that something, so hopefully it works out for both people. Then backstage, Nikita Lyons is talking with Tyreek Igwe and Tyson DuPont. When Oba Femi comes up, he gives her like robe and tells her, "You left this." And this makes me think it was Nikita Lyons who attacked Adriana Rizzo, right? It has to be, because why else would she leave her robe somewhere? Why would she forget it? And like Oba Femi would bring it to her. Why? I just think it's Nikita Lyons and she's helping Oba Femi, and these two together would be such a power team. I would so love to see this. Just everything around Oba Femi right now is so hot, and if you pair him up with Nikita Lyons, she doesn't even have to be his mouthpiece, just like a valet, similar to like Karrion Kross and Scarlett, but just 10 times better, because Nikita Lyons can still wrestle, and you probably don't want to have her wrestle too much with her injuries. So yeah, just put these two together, make Oba Femi run everything. Money printed. We then had OTM with Jada Parker versus Hank and Tank with Cole Custer, and this was another fine match. The tag team division on NXT is so dead, man. There's nothing going on here. These are two interesting teams, but they are not developed enough to really grab my attention. Hank and Tank are fun though, and Lola Vice and Jada Parker start getting into a brawl at the side, and this distracts Hank and Tank, but luckily Cole Custer attacks one of OTM, and this helps Hank and Tank get the victory, and then everybody celebrates. Hank and Tank, Lola Vice, and Cole Custer all dance in the ring. That was really fun. Just pure chaos, and I love this. So yeah, great up. It doesn't really mean anything, just progresses Jada Parker and Lola Vice. Nothing more, but it was fun. And then in the main event, we had Fatal Influence, JC Jane and Fallon Henley going up against Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. And man, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, they're like a super team, man. They look so levels above everyone else. It's actually insane. And I was thinking about this, right? It's probably not going to happen, but wouldn't it be cool if Julia and Stephanie Vaquer get called up to the main roster like relatively soon? And just imagine a way to introduce them is like they come up during WrestleMania season, and then we have Stephanie Vaquer and Julia versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the Women's Tag Team Championships. That would be insane. That would be such a good match, man. But yeah, that's fantasy booking. Let's get back to reality. Stephanie Vaquer and Julia win after Jasmine Inks tries to interfere, but then Kalani Jordan luckily makes a save, and Julia and Stephanie Vaquer pick up the victory after that. And they all stand in the ring and celebrate, but Fatal Influence, they go up the ramp and they spin the wheel, and it lands on the spinner's choice. So they get to choose whatever gimmick they want to. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see what they choose, and we don't even know who's gonna face her yet. I would hope it's Jasmine Inks, but it probably won't be since she's a rookie, and that's kind of against what they want. But yeah, after that, lights go out, and Zarya appears. Zarya Delta. She appears. Fatal Influence is laid out, and she just stares into the camera. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know how they're gonna build up to this going into next week or even Halloween Havoc. But man, this was so cool. This whole episode, it was just so very cool. And now we've reached the end of the video, and as I always do, I give the show a rating out of 10. And tonight's episode was a 9 out of 10. A few things that were repetitive that we've seen before just takes it down from not being able to be a 10 out of 10. But overall, a very good episode. Although I don't think the rating for this week's episodes are going to be very good, the viewership is not going to be very good, because it was the start of the new NBA season. And me personally, I'm a big fan of the Boston Celtics, reigning NBA champions. Let's go. And I'm not American, so NXT happens to me at like 2 in the morning. So having to choose between those, I chose to watch the NBA game, and then I watched NXT after. So my view probably doesn't count, and I think there's going to be a lot of people like that. So I don't think if this week's rating is low, it should be anything to worry about. It should bounce back in the future. But yeah, it's just nice to note. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I have a lot of content planned out for you guys over the next coming weeks. So please leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think of the video, what you thought of NXT. So yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Enjoy your day and goodbye.